G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website and YouTube channel Kangaroo Court of Australia. I just published an article titled Prime Minister Anthony Albanese in crisis mode after decades of union corruption exposed again. And I published that on the 18th of July. And I'll just read you out part of the article. And it starts off, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has known about John Setker's and the CFMEU's corruption for decades, as has all federal and state politicians from all parties. John Setker, former CFMEU Victorian Secretary, and the CFMEU have been up to their necks in corruption for decades. And the real scandal with the latest reports of their corruption is a fake surprise by Labor and Liberal Party politicians and senior union officials. To prove the point, let's have a quick look at some of my reporting of the Royal Commission into Trade Union Governance and Corruption, which ran from 2014 to 2015. In 2014, while reporting on the Trade Union Royal Commission, I published an article titled CFMEU Secretary John Setker accused of blackmail by Boral CEO Mike Cain, which starts off, Mike Cain, the CEO of Boral, gave evidence today at the Royal Commission, and he did not hold back with allegations of blackmail and other criminal offences against John Setker and the CFMEU, which is a construction, forestry, mining and energy union, of which Mr Setker is Victorian Secretary. Mr Cain also alleged there was a conspiracy by certain parties that has allowed Mr Setker and the CFMEU to get away with criminal conduct. Now, in that article, I also publish a list of union officials and CBUS employees looking at jail time published by the Royal Commission. Now, these are people, the counsel assisting the Royal Commission, Jeremy Stoljar, recommended for criminal charges. And it starts off Health Services Union, Victoria No. 1 branch, Secretary Diana Asmar and General Manager Kimberly Kitching, Union Organiser David Eden, Darren Rowe, Lee Atkinson, Sasha Tajevsky-Usanov, Nick Caddis. The alleged offences relate to false information when they were applied for right of entry permits. Now, the Health Services Union, Kathy Jackson, obtaining property or financial advantage via deception, which is fraud at the end of the day. CFMEU, Victorian Secretary John Setker, blackmail. Sean Reardon, Victoria Assistant Secretary, blackmail or at least accessory to blackmail. And New South Wales Secretary Brian Parker, perjury. CBUS, which is a superannuation fund, Lisa Zanata, perjury. Maria Butera, perjury. And Australian Workers Union, Bruce Wilson, fraud. Ralph Blewett, fraud. So you can see from just two of the many articles I've written about the Trade Union Royal Commission, we can see that in 2014, it was publicly known that John Setker and the CFMEU branches in Victoria and New South Wales were up to the necks in corruption. Now, they were just criminal charges recommended by counsel assisting Jeremy Stoljar at the interim stage of the Royal Commission. The Royal Commission at that point still had another year to go. Now, in the article, I go on to say, the Trade Union Royal Commission also recommended criminal charges against close associates of federal MP Bill Shorten at the Health Services Victoria No. 1 branch. The same Health Services Union Victoria No. 1 branch, which the Fair Work Commission announced in February 2022 that they were under investigation for allegations of misconduct concerning the financial affairs of the branch. The same Health Services Union Victoria No. 1 branch that I wrote about in February 2015 in an article titled Bill Shorten Supporters Involved in a Multi-Million-Dollar Fraud at the Health Services Union. In August 2015, I published an article titled The Real Bill Shorten, Kathy Jackson, HSU Fraud Story, Where's the Missing $15 million? And in February 2016, I published an article titled Bill Shorten Supporters Given Warning by Federal Authority to Stop Stealing from the Health Services Union Members. And in July 2015, I published an article titled Bill Shorten's Mystery Woman, his spy in the Police Minister's Office and the links to the Health Services Union fraud. And again, the same Health Services Union Victoria No. 1 branch that changed its name to the Victorian Health Workers Union, Sydney Morning Herald reported in February 2024, is being investigated over allegations that secretly funneled union money into a training organisation that an anti-corruption commission previously found was an abject failure in paying its Secretary Diana Asmar for non-union related work at the organisation. The Fair Work Commission has been scrutinising the finances of the Health Workers Union, the conduct of Asmar, who has been accused of misusing her position at the union to gain financial advantage, and the union's long-time accountant Stenards. Now, in the article I've just published, I've got links to all those articles I just mentioned, and you can read up on the background And it's pretty important because the government's using Bill Shorten as their front to discuss how they're going to handle the CFMEU and the corruption going on there. But Bill Shorten and his cronies have been up to their neck in corruption at the Health Workers Union for years, the Health Services Victorian #1 branch. So they trade under both names, in effect. And Bill Shorten's the last person you want fronting any government attack on the CFMEU. And in the article, I have plenty of links and discussion about the latest reports of the alleged corruption by John Setkin, the CFMEU, and others. And the summary of the article is this. The key point to the above is that John Setka, Darren Greenwood, the CFMEU, Diana Asmar, and others all had criminal allegations and criminal charges recommended against them at the Royal Commission into the Trade Union Governance and Corruption in 2014 and 2015. And they are again have criminal allegations and or criminal charges recommended against them now. The history is important because a conga line of politicians and union officials, such as Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, ACTU Secretary Sally McManus, Federal Industrial Relations Minister Tony Burke and Bill Shorten, etc., are playing the dummy game and claiming it wasn't until the latest reporting that they had any idea about union corruption. Everyone who's playing the dummy game are lying like no tomorrow. They all knew, but they shut their mouths. And they've known about it since at least 2014, and many, if not most, long before that. Now, the Liberal Party and National Parties are talking tough, but they've got nowhere to hide because the Liberal Party and National Party won the 2013 election and set up the Royal Commission into Trade Union Governance and Corruption, which ran from 2014 to 2015. And the Liberal and National Coalition stayed in power until 2022. So most of the corruption since 2014 and 15 has happened on their watch. Some have suggested the corruption has been an open secret within the Labor Party, when the reality is it's been an open secret with anyone and everyone who follows politics. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and his government have announced they will move to have an independent administrator appointed to the CFMEU. Is the appointment of the CFMEU independent administrator motivated to clean up corruption in unions, or because there's a federal election less than 12 months away? If it's motivated to clean up corruption, then why hasn't the government taken any action against Bill Shorten's mates at the Health Workers Union? None of the major political parties have the stomach, ethics or integrity to deal with corruption long term because the politicians are just as corrupt, if not more corrupt, than the people they are meant to make sure are held to account. The politicians will stick a Band-Aid on corruption when it hits the media, but as soon as the media storm is gone, so is the conviction to deal with the corruption. And that is why corruption by the same people goes on and on and on, as per above in the article. I'll put a link to that article below this video on YouTube, and make sure you click on the link where there's a lot more information, a lot of links to all those articles I just mentioned. And you can see the background there, and you can see the fact that the Labor Party, the Liberal Party, and National Party do not care about corruption in the union movement. It's just because it hit the media, so they're pretending they're going to do something. But as per usual, as soon as the media dies down, so will a conviction to actually do anything about the corruption, because they don't care about corruption anywhere. If they start dealing with corruption in the union movement, well, then they've got to start dealing with corruption in other areas. And ultimately, they'll have to deal with corruption in the political sector, which is them. And they're all corrupt as, and they don't want to deal with that. So they're happy to sweep corruption under the carpet. And that's why corruption in the union movement keeps on coming up and up and again. If you want to do something about corruption, make sure you share this video on social media, and also click on the link and read that article and share that article. And please hit the like and subscribe button. In Kangaroo Court of Australia's independent media, I publish a website and a YouTube channel, and I'm 100% crowdfunded from viewers like yourself. So please support my Patreon account or PayPal account. Or if you go to my website, there's a donation page, and you can click on the link there, and there's other donation options. Other than that, thank you for your time and have a good day.